Alright, so in this video we are going to talk about how to use all of the fun little Goodnotes functions along with your Bible study journal. So we'll begin in the top left hand corner and click on the 4 squares. This just shows you the overview of the journal. If you have a certain page that you want to remember or bookmark, essentially, in the top right hand corner of all the pages you can bookmark them, and then if you go over to favorites, those will show up that way. So that's just a function if you want to use it. And then in the top left hand corner, again next to the symbol that we just clicked on, is a search button. So if you search for any word, so I'm going to type in Psalm, and you'll see that there is, it appears a couple of times in there. And so you could click on any one of them. Once you have handwriting in here, it will actually sometimes appear when you search for it too. So, yep, there we go. I have written out this psalm, and now it recognized that I wrote psalm. And so you can just go there and you can click on it and it will bring you directly to the page. So the next symbol that we have is the share button. This is if you want to export it or print it, which you probably won't, but it's there in case you'd want to. Alright, so the next button that we have is the microphone button. If you click on this, it's going to start recording what you say. So we'll let it go for a few seconds. I'm going to hit stop, and then there's the recording right there. I don't need that recording, so I'm going to delete it. I normally don't use that function, but you might find it helpful, so it's good to know that it's there. And then moving on, we have the title. So we went over this in one of our other videos, but if you want to change the title, you can go here, hit the X button, and then just add a new title, journal. Pretty simple. Let's see, done. Here we go. Oh, we need another one. Okay, so moving on, we have 2 arrows right here, and these are kind of like undo arrows, very similar to what you'll find on a computer. So if I just scribble right here, if I hit that button, it's gonna undo it, and then if I hit the one that goes to the right, it's going to bring it back. So that's definitely a good thing to have if you accidentally delete something that you didn't mean to. You can always just go back and get it back. This is the bookmark button. So very similar to when we went over here and we bookmarked it. See, if I take the bookmark off, it will also reflect right there. So it's just another way to get to that. And then here we have the duplicate page. This will duplicate the current template, which is the page that you're on. So we're on the cover photo right now. We probably don't want to duplicate that, but let's see. We might want to duplicate the daily devotional. If we filled this out and we're back for another day doing another devotional, we want to duplicate this template. You're going to go up and hit this, the symbol with the, it's like a paper with a plus sign, and you're going to hit current template. And you're going to get the current template, another daily devotional. You can mess around a little bit with this function. So right now, when I duplicate the current template, it's going to come after this one. So let me show you. So this is the current one that we're on right now. I'm going to duplicate it, and it's going to come after. So if I go back, we'll see our little scribble. You can also duplicate it before. So let's duplicate it. And then now you can see it's before our little scribble. There's some other things here that you might find helpful. So if you want to take a photo, scan documents, I'll actually take photo there. So this is importing images from your Photos app. This is taking a photo directly on Goodnotes, or importing something else. You can use those, and it's going to, again, make it as a new page. And then right here in the top right hand corner, we have a pencil with a dash going through it, and that is what we click to get into reading mode. So reading mode is the way that you get all of the hyperlinks to work. So if I click on prayer journal, we'll go to prayer journal. If I click on sermon notes, we'll go to sermon notes. If I go back to the Bible reading tracker and I've just read Jonah, I'll click on Jonah, and now you can see Jonah is right there to fill in. If you are not on reading mode, which is then clicking the pencil with a little circle through it, then you have the option to use the writing pencil. So if I were to click on the tabs, they're not going to work. Instead, they're just going to show the pen because that's what function that I'm on right now. So if your hyperlinks aren't working, it's probably because you're in writing mode. So just make sure you click on that. You'll get into reading mode and your hyperlinks will work. All right, so moving on, we're going to go to the top right-hand corner and click on these 3 little dots, and you'll see that there's quite a lot here that you can do. You can copy the page, rotate it, change template, all of that stuff. I don't really find helpful for this Bible study journal, but you can play around with them if you'd like. The 2 things that are helpful here are the clear page and the move page to trash. So if I've written something and I realize, you know what, I made a mistake, the easiest way to delete it, you can erase it, but if you know you want to clear the entire page, you can just go here, hit clear page, and everything will disappear. If you want to move a page to the trash, you're more than welcome to do so. I would just warn you that you can't recover a page once you've moved it to the trash. So if you accidentally delete, say, the prompted template, and there's no other prompted templates that you have saved as a backup, if you delete this page, it's going to be gone forever. So I tend not to delete pages. I especially wouldn't delete any of the title pages here because that will obviously ruin the hyperlinks. So just be careful. If you're going to delete any page when you're setting up your journal, it comes with the 5 cover photos. So what I do is just delete the 4 that you don't want, and then you're left with the 1. That's a great way to use the delete page option. And then if you know for certain you're never going to use the prompted template, or you know for certain you're never going to use the unprompted template, you could delete one or the other. But what I tend to do is I just keep the prompted, and then I prefer the unprompted, and we'll just duplicate the unprompted page. But I always keep this one just in case I want to go back and read the prompts. And, you know, it just exists there and it's blank and it works for me. All right, so we've covered everything on this top bar. So now we're going to move down here to the functions that you can do while you're in writing mode. So if I click on reading mode only, you see they'll disappear. So we'll go back here, and that's how we get all of these functions. So the first one that we have right here, we'll get to this one in just a sec, but this is just the regular pen. You can change it to a fountain pen, a brush pen, a ball pen. My handwriting is not like fancy calligraphy, so I just stick with the ball pen. And in addition to this, you've got some functions for the pen over here. So right here is the thickness of the pen. You have 3 different options, and you can set which option you want for the 3. So I could change it to this, and now I'm gonna have super thick. Go to the middle, it's going to be thinner. Go here, it's going to be even thinner. This is definitely personal preference. When I'm using this journal, I like to pinch in and then write like this. So I tend to use smaller thickness when I'm writing pinched in compared to if I was writing like this. So play around with it, see what you like. It's totally up to you on the pen thickness. But it's really nice to have these presets, and I normally just leave them. Once I figure out what I like, I'll just leave them like that and alternate between them. These 3 colors right here are your preset colors. So obviously I have black right now. If you click down here, you can see there's more color options. I've added some colors, so you won't see as many if you've just downloaded Goodnotes. But right here, you can click on this button, and you can add a new color. You can either like put the hex code in, or you can, so we've chosen this color, and we'll go back, and there it will be reflected right there, and then you can use it. So these 3 colors will show up as whichever ones you've most recently used. So if I want to use blue, it's going to change it to blue. If I want to use this as green, it's going to change it to green. I tend to keep one black always, and then I'll just alternate these 2 on other colors depending on what I want to use. But it's very, very simple to use the different colors. Also, if you change the pen thickness, that will reflect as well. And you can add as many preset colors as you want. All right, let's move on to the eraser symbol, and this is pretty self-explanatory. This is just a big eraser. You can change the size of the eraser. So this one here, let's get a nice big example. So this one's the smallest one. As you can see, it's pretty small. This one, medium size. This one's going to cover a lot more ground. If you click on this symbol again, once you've already clicked onto it, you can change which highlighter or which eraser you're going to use. I think it comes preset to the standard, but I tend to use the precision eraser. It just makes it a little bit easier to erase things, especially if you are in the Bible reading tracker and you've highlighted in one of the squares and you want to erase that. I'll show you exactly what I mean in a sec, but that's why I prefer the precision eraser. So let's talk about the highlighter now, and let's go over to the Bible reading tracker page. So right here is the highlighter function. Again, you have all of the different colors here. You can do the same thing. You can add another preset color. You can add another color other than the 3 right here. You've got 3 different thicknesses, and you can change what you want the preset of those thicknesses to be. If you click on the highlighter, there's not really much more information other than it will draw in a straight line for you. So if I go like this, it's gonna change to a straight line. If I took that off, if I draw it, it's not going to. So it does work well if you want to highlight something in your own writing. I would tend to keep that on. So when it comes to highlighting in the Bible bookshelf or the Bible reading tracker, we recommend you using the highlighter, not using the pen. If you use the pen, it's just going to cover up the writing underneath. The same goes for here. It's just going to cover it up like that. But if you use the highlighter, the writing is still going to show up on top, and same here. So it just looks a little bit nicer. And then you can go in with the eraser. This is where I was talking about that precision eraser really helping, and make sure you're on the small amount. And then you can go in and you can just clean up the edges and make it look nice and neat. One more highlighter tip that I have for you is if you start to go and fill this in and then you pick up your pen and then you keep filling it in, you're gonna see that there's a little bit of overlap there. So what I recommend doing is just making sure you're on a big, that's probably too big. You've got big highlighter thickness and you do it all in one motion, and then you can go in and you can clean it up. Or you can leave it like that and just have it look kind of neat like that, just coloring them all in, just like that. All right, now we're gonna move on to this symbol, which has a bunch of shapes on it. This is just going to allow us to make shapes. So I can make a really messy rectangle and it's gonna make a rectangle. Make a really messy triangle, it's gonna make a triangle. You might find this helpful if there's like something you want to kind of, you know, you've written something and then you wanna, forgot we were in this. You've written something and then you wanna kind of make it stand out a little bit. You could certainly do that, but it might not be super helpful for this Bible study journal. All right, now moving on to this lasso symbol right here. We're gonna go over here to the soap, and you can see that I have written out Psalm 23 very messily, but still it's there. And it's gonna be a great example of how to use this lasso tool. So basically, this is just going to allow you to circle a writing, and there's a lot of functions that you can do. You can move this around very easily. If you tap on it, this will appear, so you can copy this and you could paste it on another page. You can cut it so it will disappear from this page and then paste it on another page. You can delete it. You can resize it. So if I do that, this is very helpful for when you ran out of space, you've written something. So essentially what I've done here, this is my scripture for the soap, but I went way past it. So you can just resize it and then the whole thing fits right there. So that works really well. I use that a lot, especially if we go back to the chapter summary. Sometimes I end up writing past this, and so I will just lasso it and shrink it, and it works really well. So let's get back to that page. and we'll lasso it again. Tap it. I'm gonna make it bigger just so we can see the other functions of it. And then you can change the color, which is kind of neat if you want to change the color of the writing. You can take a screenshot of just this specifically. You can also convert this to text, which is pretty neat, and it normally does a pretty decent job. Sometimes there'll be a few mistakes, like lie down is kind of sandwiched into one word. But I got the capitalization of the Lord, so that's pretty cool. All right, so the next button that we have is the sticker button. This is if you want to purchase stickers. I think Goodnotes has some. You can also find a ton on Etsy. I tend not to use the sticker buttons because I like my journal to be a little bit more simple and not super cluttered, but it's definitely there if you want to import stickers and add them to your journal. This is going to show you photos from your recent camera roll, so if you wanted to add a photo, you could do that. And then here we have typing function, and then this is the text box function. So if you have, I mean, you can just easily like have this keyboard pull up and you can type stuff. If you have a Bluetooth keyboard, so either like for the iPad, they make a magic keyboard stand, so it's got the keyboard that you can type into, or if you just have one that you plug into the side, you can use that function here as well. All right, and finally we're going to go back to this little symbol right here, which is going to pull up this box, and essentially it allows you to type or to write down here, and then it's going to be reflected here. So like I said earlier, you can, let's get off that, you can pinch in and write stuff here. Wow, that's thick. Let's change that. You can write stuff here, or you can use this little function. So to use this function, you want to have it set up where you want to start, and then you're just going to start writing. So, oops, we're on the eraser. All right, as you can see, I've made it to the end of the box, and I can't go any further. But now this little blue shaded rectangle has appeared, and it's here, right? It's here as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go back here and keep on writing. And now you can see the text box has moved a little bit, so I can keep on writing. Now, if I've started to, let's see, go, I lack nothing. Excuse my awful handwriting. I'm doing this sideways. So I've made it all the way here, and now I want to go down. You can just move it down like that, but you can also go over here and hit this arrow that's going down and then to the left, and it's just going to automatically go there. So we can keep doing this. And as you can see, it will just continue going on and on and on, and then when I get to the end of that, I can go down again. These other two arrows just allow you to move back and forth as well. So if you prefer writing like that rather than pinching it on the screen and writing, it works really well. It might take you like a few seconds to get used to, but it's very simple to figure out. All right, so we went over all of the basics of Goodnotes and how to apply them to your Bible study journal. If you run into any problems or have any questions, definitely reach out to us. We'd love to help, but we hope you have fun using these journals, and thanks for watching.